All right, so we are back with a group that their sole purpose, really, ultimately, is to try to get one of the two of them to become a more avid reader. One partner will do anything it takes. He'll find books. He'll find interesting descriptions of books. He'll find books that have been movies. He just tries his best. But one guy in this group, he is just trying to maybe avoid reading things if he doesn't have to. But the other group member, he knows that if he finds the right book, it is all possible that his friend may be excited about reading. Miss Thompson is here. Miss Thompson, our school librarian at HMS, she's here to be on their podcast today. They're going to interview her, and we're going to get to know a little bit more about Miss Thompson and some of her great background in books, because she is absolutely awesome when it comes to finding the right book for the student. It's just like a matching process, and she knows what she's doing. So without further ado, I think you heard enough out of me. I'm going to pass it along to these guys.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Book Reviews podcast. I'm James, and with me as always is Daniel. For this week, we will be doing a special episode where we will be interviewing our middle school library teacher, Miss Thompson.
Hi everyone.
This show is mostly about doing book reviews on the books me and James have read and our favorite books. We plan to show books to our viewers and give them recommendations on what books they should read. Our series will be a fun and exciting series, and we hope you enjoy it.
So let's get started. Ms. Thompson, first I want to ask you a simple question. How long have you been working in Herricks?
So I've been working in the Herricks School District for 22 years, but I was a social studies teacher at the high school before I went back to get my second master's in library information sciences. And I started here as the middle school librarian in 2010. So this is my 14th year as the middle school librarian.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you if you had a different job, but you already answered that.
Yeah, so I was a social studies teacher first at Deer Park High School, and I was there for 4 years. And then I was lucky enough to be offered a position at Herricks High School, and I taught 9th grade world history, 10th grade world history, and 11th grade U.S. history.
So, what made you change to the library teacher?
That's a great question. So originally, when I used to do research with my students at the high school, I was really shocked as to how they had no idea how the research process worked, how to find information and sort through different sources, and also how to cite those sources properly, but also how to analyze the information so that they could come up with their own conclusions. So I decided that I was going to take one class at Queens College, just one, that was how it started, about research and the research process so I could better help my students at the high school. But I fell in love with the library program there, and I ended up going back to get my second master's. I didn't expect that I would actually ever use it. I thought it would be something I might use like later on after I retire. I could go work at a public library. But then very randomly, the middle school library position opened, and the district asked if I wanted to take a shot at it. And I figured, what do I have to lose? So I tried it, and they were really nice. They said, if you don't like it, you can go back to social studies at the end of the year. But I loved it. This is my favorite thing I do. My heart and soul is totally a librarian. This was the definite right choice for me. So I've stayed ever since.
Okay. So also, I've heard from Mr. Heit that I think you have a daughter.
Yes.
Has that ever changed your reading or working experience?
She hates to read. So I don't know if it's when she was younger, she really liked to read, and we would read all the time. Her favorite books are Harry Potter. And I think she started reading Harry Potter when she was in first grade, and she tore through them. And she's a wonderful reader. She's in honors classes. She's a really good student. But I think right now, you guys are the same age as her. And I think it's more of the teenage, I'm going to do everything my parents aren't going to want me to do. So for her, not wanting to read is a good way for her to stick it to me, if that makes sense, because I have to fight with her every day. Right now, she is actually reading The Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. It's part of the Gods of Asgard series, and she's really liking that. So it's kind of funny because she doesn't want me to see her reading, but I'll go into her room at night and she'll be reading. But it definitely helps me to choose books that I think other students might like based on where I know my daughter is in her life. And I think it has made me a better librarian now that she's the same age as my students. I definitely have a lot more patience for kids now because I'm like, oh, my daughter's that age. I could see her, when kids do silly things or things that maybe aren't the best choices. I'm like, oh yeah, I could see my daughter and her friends maybe doing that. But does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Are there any books you are currently reading right now?
So I'm usually reading 2 or 3 books at a time. I usually listen to one on audio on my way back and forth to work because I drive about 45 minutes each way. So I can get an audiobook done in, maybe like a week. And the audiobook I'm listening to right now, I'm almost done. I have about 30 minutes to go. It's a mystery. I'm pretty sure I know who did it. It's called What Lies in the Woods. That's definitely an adult book, not for middle school. For you guys, the book that I'm reading right now is really interesting. It's actually called Accused. Because as I said, I'll read one for myself in the car, like I'll listen. Then I always read one from the middle school library so that I can talk to kids about it. And then I'm in a book club, so I have that one too. So the one I'm reading for the middle school right now is called Accused, and it just came out. It's brand new, and it's about a group of kids who made what they thought was a private Facebook page or Instagram page, I guess. And on it, they wrote all of these really horrible racist things. And they made all these like videos making fun of people based on race. And they wrote horrible things on it. But they thought that it was private, but it wasn't. And it was actually set to a public setting. And people started seeing what these kids had written and what they were saying. And it turned into a whole community coming together against this racism and against these kids to teach them kind of like what's right and wrong. But I just started it, so I haven't read a lot of it yet, but it's really interesting. It's a nonfiction. It's a true story. So I'm hoping to push it during the nonfiction units for ELA if I like it. Not if I like it. Other kids may like it, even if I don't like it, but I'm liking it so far. But just to make sure it's appropriate. And then for my adult book club, I just finished... What was the book we just finished reading? Oh, it was beautiful. It was called The Bird Hotel. It was one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. We just met about it and talked about it last week, but we haven't picked our next book for our next book club yet.
Okay. I might try to Accuse maybe.
Cool.
Also, what are your favorite books and genres?
My favorite genre is historical fiction and fantasy. I don't like realistic fiction usually. The reason is, well, you guys too. As human beings, we have a lot that we deal with on a daily basis that's real. And so if there's a time that I can go out of reality, I can be taken back in time to a different place, right, that I've never lived in and experience what it was like there, or I can be taken to a whole new world in a fantasy. It helps me to escape from my daily pressures of life. So those are my 2 favorite. My favorite books for middle school that I've read is definitely Harry Potter. I know some people, I never liked fantasy before I read Harry Potter, and it completely turned me on to the genre of fantasy. I don't love it because of the magic, although it's really cool. I love it because of the world that she builds at Hogwarts. It's just this safe place where these kids go and learn all of this amazing stuff. But I also love her characters. Every single character in those books, you love them or you hate them, which is what you're supposed to do. And I loved watching Harry grow up. So you guys can come down to the library now. You can get all 7 Harry Potter books at once. It didn't work that way. She was publishing them when I was reading them. So we would read one book, not get to the ending, and then have to wait a year for the next book to come out. And I was one of those dorky people who would wait online at Barnes & Noble at midnight to get my next copy of whatever Harry Potter book was coming out. And I would sit up all night and I would read it, and I could not wait for the next book. So that really changed me as a reader to turn me on to fantasy and showing me like I can kind of pop out of my world and go to new worlds that authors are creating.
What other hobbies do you have other than reading?
So I advise the History Day Club here at the middle school, and that takes a lot of my time, but I love it, and I love working with the kids on History Day. I am the head of all of West Islip Girl Scouts, so I oversee 35 different Girl Scout troops and their leaders, and then I have my own Girl Scout troop as well with my daughter. So we've been doing Girl Scouts together since she was in kindergarten, so we've been doing it for 8 years now. But as service unit coordinator, I plan monthly events for all of the girls. It's about 300 something girls in West Islip. And I plan monthly events for them that revolve around Girl Scouts and Girl Scout skills. And I have a dog, so I like to train her and walk her, and she's so cute. Her name is Checkers. She's black and white. She weighs 10 pounds. She's a cutie poo. And like I said, I have my book club, so that keeps me busy. We meet like at least once a month. We usually have a brunch together and talk about our books. And I crochet and knit.
Do you have any suggestions for any books that we should review for future episodes?
Sure. What are your favorite genres so I can help you pick good ones?
I like dystopian and like sci-fi.
I probably usually like a mystery or like fantasy.
Okay, so the best mysteries I think that have come out in the last couple of years, the first one I would recommend is called The Hawthorne Legacy. Did you read that one yet? No. Okay, so that's a set of 4 books, and it's about a girl, and she is, lives in like, it's not a foster home. She has a stepsister, but I think they have a foster parent. Oh, no, I remember. Okay, the stepsister is, they met they're not biological sisters. They were both foster kids. And they're very poor. And the older sister is kind of raising this younger sister. And she's in high school. They're very poor. And she's she's at school one day and she gets called to the principal's office. And there's this man there in this like really expensive suit. And he's like, I need you to come with me on my private jet to Texas. But I can't tell you why. Very mysterious. And it turns out that she has been named in the will of a multi-billionaire. I mean, think like Jeff Bezos kind of money, okay? And she has no idea why. She has never met this person. She's never heard of this person. She doesn't know who this person is, and unfolds this mystery as to why she's been named in this will. And she has 1 year to figure out why, and she inherits all the money. But he has children of his own, and they want the money. And so people start to die, and people start to disappear, and that one was really fun. There's another one I love for mystery too called Truly Devious. That's great for middle school kids and high school kids for that one too. And that's about a girl who goes to a boarding school, and there in the 1920s, there was a murder at the school, and she's really interested in crime, and she actually does crime podcasts and like true crime. And she decides she's going to figure out what happened. But as she starts, people start disappearing and ending up dead today. So that's a really good one too. And I'm a sucker for Nancy Drew. I know they're old, and I know that kids are like, those books are like 50 years old, and they are, but there's a reason they're still published. They're some of the best mysteries ever. And of course, Agatha Christie. For science fiction and dystopian, there's so many that I love, but my favorite one is a lesser known one called Delirium. And that's a 3-book series. Have you read that one yet?
I heard about it.
It's my favorite. I know people go to like Divergent and The Hunger Games, but I loved Delirium because I thought the characters were amazing. I do love The Hunger Games too. That's one of my favorite series. But in Delirium, we meet a girl. Her name is Lena. Aside from Harry Potter, she's my second favorite book character that I've ever met for middle school and high school kids. She is awesome. And she lives in a society set in the future in a dystopian world where they have discovered that they believe that the reason that there's evil and bad in the world is because people have the ability to love. Because when we fall in love with someone, we're willing to do like crazy, stupid things, and we don't think right, and we would do things we would never do. Or maybe if somebody else like looked at someone the wrong way, or they say, tried to steal their girlfriend, they might fight them, whatever. So their society has completely eliminated the ability to love. And on your 17th birthday, you get a brain surgery where they take out the portion of your brain that allows you to feel the feelings of love. And Lena cannot wait to get her surgery. She's super excited. It means she's becoming an adult in her society. And while she's waiting online to get her surgery procedure, she meets a boy named Alex, and it's love at first sight. And now they don't know what to do because they're super happy and they're falling in love, but they're about to have that feeling taken away from them forever. And so it turns into sort of like the Hunger Games, this battle against the government. It turns into this battle of the two of them trying to fight against what the government's doing to them. It's 3 books. Delirium is book number 1. And lesser known ones that I also love for girls, also for boys, because there's 2 really strong male characters in it as well, but it is a romance called The Selection series. And that's one of our most popular dystopian books, and I loved that one too.
Do you have any other questions or like for us or like comments?
Yeah. So you love one. Who's the one who loves to read? And who's the one who doesn't like to read?
Daniel's the one who likes to read.
And you're the one who does not like to read. Okay,
I don't really
so we learn in library school that there is this famous old librarian from long time ago, and his name was Raghunathan. And he said that it's the right book for every reader, the right reader for every book. So what you have to think about when you are thinking about what would I want to read, you want to start first with where your own interests and hobbies lie. So you think about, what do I like to do after school? So what do you like to do after school? What are some of your hobbies?
I usually just like to play video games.
That's awesome. So we have so many books that revolve around video game worlds. So I would recommend for you, I would say, okay, you may want to read Warcross by Marie Lu. Did you ever read that one?
I read
You
that
did.
one.
Did you love it?
Yeah, I loved
Did you ever read it?
I tried to get on Shutterlock Library, but it was out.
Okay, so we have it downstairs, and I want you to come and take it. So that would be one. Ready Player One would be another one for you. There's so many books that revolve around the world of video gaming, but Warcross was amazing, and it brings you into this whole virtual reality world where there's this gaming tournament, an international gaming tournament, and what people will do to win that tournament and be the best player. So there's always going to be a book for you, but again, think about where your interests lie and what you like to read about, what your hobbies are, what you like to do after school, or even your favorite TV shows or movies. And then if you speak to a librarian, they should be able to match you to the right book for you.
I think that's about it. And
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram with the name at Herricks Studios. Information about this show and more can be found on Twitter and Instagram with the name at Herricks Studios.
you can find this podcast on your favorite app by searching for Herricks Studios. If you would like to leave a review, please do so on Apple Podcasts, and we might read it on the show. This podcast is a production of Herricks Studios with Mr. Heit in content creation. Foundation's 8th grade elective. The views and opinions expressed in the recordings do not necessarily reflect the views or position of Herricks School District. That's going to do it for me and James. Thank you for being here for today's episode, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun.
See you next time.
We'll
Bye.
see you next time. Bye.